Hey y'all, welcome to today's video on whole body foam rolling routine. So this is my personal routine. I'm a massage therapist and I use this to decompress after a long workday. You can use this at any time. This is so good for just getting that circulation to flow in your body again, increasing your energy, increasing your vitality, and getting those muscles to release some of those adhesions they're holding on to. So let's start, let's get into it, and let's start with everyone's favorite, which is the back. So before we start, if you have long hair, make sure to pin it up. I've got my claw clip in here to keep this hair out because you definitely don't want it to get caught under the foam roller. So let's just get onto our mats here. And let's start with the upper back. So what we're gonna do is find a nice place and we're gonna cross our arms and then just rolling back and forth, lifting the bottom off of the mat in order to get some movement in. So I'm stopping right as I get to that lumbar spine, because I'm focusing here on the upper back to start. So we have a ton of muscles in our back that support our spine, our ribs, our diaphragm. They are working constantly to keep our heads up, our eyes on the horizon, and it's just a great place to begin. This is where I always start. There's a lot of value in releasing the upper back. So here we go. Moving on to the glutes. Again, a really high impact area. We like to get our nervous system and our mind to buy into this more of a mobility routine. It's more boring. Let's be honest. It's not the first thing that we run to. And so if you can really get our body, our nervous system to help support this activity, we start with the places that hurt the most. Typically it's the upper back and the glutes on a lot of people. So what I'm doing here is just rolling very slowly, very gently, and I'm aiming for about 45 seconds on each area. So as you're beginning to implement this into your own practice, I'm just going to give you some of these guidelines that I use so you can take it and run with it. Create what feels the best for you. So I've got this leg extended, I'm rolling. You can also bend this leg on the other knee and roll into the glute that way. That accesses a little bit of different fibers there. And when you're ready, moving to the other side. So switch to my other glute here. Just kind of rolling from the top of that hip bone all the way to the sit bone. So feeling that sacrum, you can kind of adjust the angle to get into that sacrum a little bit below the SI joint, which is more near to the center of your back, your low back. There's lots of fibers, attachments, origins in this area, so you want to kind of use some variety to get into them. Again, I'm bending my knee, propping it up in a figure 4 position to change the stimulus that's going into this muscle. Group, this muscle group, there's lots of muscles in here. So we try to take care of them all. And just a few more moments here. And we're going to move to the hamstrings. So let's start with the hamstrings. I'm gonna move to this side. What you're gonna wanna do is extend that leg out, propping up the opposite leg for support. And I just like to roll back and forth. So I'm really going towards that knee and back up to the hip. You can play with the angle of your leg, so rotating the femur externally by turning your foot out. You can also rotate it internally, turning that foot in. Getting a few different positions there. And all the while just being curious about what you're feeling, what you're noticing. So for me personally, I'm noticing my adductors, or the muscles on the inside of my leg, could use a little bit of work. And switching to this other side, rolling back and forth here. And to note, if you find an area that's particularly intense, go ahead and just pause there. Allow those fibers to soften up with some direct pressure. Remembering to breathe. Massage is a workout for your muscles, and this is no different. We are giving a full body massage to ourselves here. So you're going to want to have a lot of fluids after this. You might want to take a walk to ground back down. All right. Next, we're moving out to the posterior, or the back side of the calves. So what I do is I cross one leg over the other, and then I just roll back and forth. You'll also see me rotating my ankles. This helps with some of the active release of these muscles. So you can play with passive, whereas you just have it relaxed, or you can activate it by inviting some gentle movement in. And same thing here with the rotation of the femur, the leg. You want to play with internal rotation, which is where I'm at right now. You also want to play with external rotation, which is shifting to the outside, the lateral part. And go ahead and switch. So you'll notice differences between both sides. I'm already noticing my left is a little bit more intense than my right, especially near the Achilles. So pay attention to those hot spots, if you will, that could ask for a little bit more time. Maybe you pause the video and you go ahead and dedicate that time that they're asking for. Really just making sure you're getting that blood to flow like you need it to. All right. A few more moments here. And we'll switch to the front side of the calves next. Okay. So come onto your hands and your knees, and you're going to bring that foam roller underneath you. So you can kind of feel for how this feels best for you. I like to prop myself up on my toes and kind of rock back and forth with my hands supporting my body. Now, if you feel brave, you can lift those feet up, kind of tucking the pelvis underneath you and rolling that way for a little bit more intense of a stretch. Getting close to those ankles can be painful, but it can also really help to open up these muscles that we're targeting. So we are really getting into the tibialis anterior here. If you need to do just one at a time, you can also do that. A little more targeted. And a lot of people are sore here. A lot of my clients are shocked when I work this area and they see how much tension is present. So this is a great area to really sink into and pay some love. So mine are particularly sore. So I've just switched to one leg at a time, get a little more surgical with it. Okay, now we've got a fun one. We've got the quads. So these are major muscles in the body, very strong. They're also very tender for a lot of people. My advice, start slow, do one leg at a time, make sure your body feels safe. So I have practiced this a long time. So I am in a position that feels good to me. I've got one leg propped out for stability. I've got my arms placed to hold me up. And I am feeling into this tension. There's a lot of tension in my quads. They are very sensitive. You may be feeling similar sensations. Really slow it down. This is not a race. We aren't getting gold medals for this. There's no proper way to do it. The best intention you can have is just to be present with your body. Being mindful of your knee, not crossing over the knee, making it feel unstable, but going near it. Finding places that feel tense and then just allowing them to sink. Finding a trigger point, paying it some attention. And when you're ready to move on, switching to the other side. Taking your time as you get here. You will notice differences. You will notice differences between the two legs. Just being present with yourself. Continuing to breathe. Experimenting with different positionings. You're doing a great job. Your body is already thanking you. Finding trigger points on this other quad. Many people are quad dominant in our modern society, so you may notice there's more here than you thought. They work hard. They support us. They move us forward in life. All right, when you've had enough, it's time to move on. We are going to do the adductors. So, find a comfortable position first. Have your foam roller outside of you, and then bring one of your legs out to the side in a figure 4 position. So my leg is easily able to extend outwards. These are adductors. So I'm just gonna gently play into them here by rolling just ever so slightly. Now, there's a lot of people who have tension in their adductors. This really helps knee stability, it helps ankle stability. If you have a tight low back, you probably need to spend some more time on your adductors here. Now I'm moving my leg out to the side. I'm inviting active release. Passive release is just as good. So do what your body is asking you for. Notice if the tension is near the knee joint or if there's more towards the hip joint. And position yourself so that you're getting the best outcome here. You might hear your hips adjust themselves. You might roll over certain muscles. This is called cross-fibering. Cross-fibering is very helpful. It shifts the muscle fibers so that different fibers are getting released as well. So don't be alarmed if you roll over something and it makes a rubber band feeling. That's good. That's actually good for it to be cross-fiber. Okay. Switching to the other side here. Taking your time, being gentle. Holding space for yourself is self-love. It is an act of pure self-love. Now, the goal here is to be able to make this practice your own. I'm merely showing you what works for me. You have no tie to doing it exactly the way I do it. I invite you to make it your own. You can use this video every day, or you can turn it into something that is custom for you. Spending time on the areas that you need the most work. And wow, my left knee really needs some work here. I'm gonna spend a little more time here. Breathing into those areas, inviting length back in, inviting safety. Perfect. Great job. We're almost done. Next, we are going to move into the latissimus dorsi. So, take your foam roller, slide it underneath your armpit, and go just below your armpit here. So you can either extend your arm out or kind of lift it up and cross your hands behind your head. But what you're gonna do is just roll back and forth. And if you hear that cross-fibering noise, it's a good thing. If it's too painful to move at first, just go ahead and find a nice spot and stay there. Sink into it. Having that stimulus is really going to help these muscles release. Sometimes slow is best. Don't try to do too much all at once. In a world where it has you doing too much, time to clock out. Sign out of that one. Know your limits. Nice, easy breathing. right here with you. We're in this together. Play with some movement. You can rotate towards the floor. You can rotate towards the ceiling. Just really feel that release. All right. And from here, when you're ready to move on, we're going to work on our arm, our tricep. So just slowly finding some movement along here, starting at the elbow, going all the way. You can even scoot so it's at its end here in the armpit. Rather, its beginning, its origin. There's a lot of muscles in here, so just feeling into these areas. I just found a really nice trigger point, so I'm going to stay here. Keep exploring this tricep, exploring this armpit of muscles here. Maybe you're noticing you need a shower. Go take a shower after this. Go take a swim. Water is so healing, especially after something like this. That gets that circulation to pump again. All right, moving to the other side. So we're going to start with that lat again. So again, taking caution here. Being gentle. What is your body asking for? Do you need some twists, some rotations? Are you finding a trigger point? How can you do this with ease? Just feeling into here. Noticing if you need movement, if you need static holds, what do you need? Breathing deeply, trying to relax as much of your body as possible. And when you're ready, moving to that tricep. You may be surprised about this. The tricep is actually really connected to neck and shoulder pain. Another one of those muscles that goes underloved, underrated. I'm just giving all my secrets away today. That's okay, they shouldn't be secrets, I won't gatekeep. Okay, slide this towards the armpit and I'm going to sink in here. You might be surprised at how much sensation is here. Kind of getting the back of your deltoid, which is your shoulder cap muscle. Those posterior fibers, you're getting your lat, you're getting the tricep. There's a lot going on back here. Okay. So when you're ready, come to a seat. So I'm going to show you one last thing. This is for your extensor muscles. So remove any jewelry that you have. If possible, and using the foam roller to release the back of these forearms here. So I do this a lot just with the nature of my work. If you work at a computer and you're typing, your extensors are working very hard for you. So you might notice some muscles that are tender. You might notice some of those trigger points. If you find a spot you want to sink into, I invite you to do so. And I also invite you to move your wrist back and forth. This is an active release. This helps these muscle bellies of the extensors to let go of some of this pain. If you have any tendinitis or any arthritis of your joints, this will really help you. This will help that blood flow to come back into these muscle bellies and assist at these joints that need a little bit more lubrication. So this whole practice is about getting that motor oil of the body or the blood with fresh oxygen to kickstart in the engine and really get going again. We're increasing that circulation. So making sure to do equal sides on both arms. Playing with the angles, so changing your approach if you need more intensity or less. I'm using my top arm as a brace and as additional weight here. So play with that. Finding spots that feel more intense, moving into them, holding them, rotating that wrist around. Great job. How are you feeling? I'm already feeling more calm. Just hang out with you guys. All right, so we have finished our practice. Go ahead and take a nice seat. We'll take 2 breaths together, integrate all those changes, and then we'll move forward. So whenever you're ready, taking a nice deep inhale through your nose, expanding that diaphragm in 360 degrees, and nice and slow, long exhale through the nose or through the mouth. And again, one more inhale through the nose, holding at the top this time. And slowly, slowly exhale through the nose, emptying out the breath, integrating those changes, noticing the shift that you created in your body, knowing that this is always available to you whenever you need it. You can meet me back here, or you can shift this into something of your own. Make it work for you. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Riley Burris, and I'll see you next time.